Hello, my dear friends. How are you doing? Hope you are having an amazing day and not having to deal with drama. Ready for new stories I have for you today? Let's go to the first one. And don't forget to listen to the end of the story, guys, to hear my insights. Enjoy the stories. And don't forget to like and subscribe. And of course, don't forget to leave a comment. My parents had me, 16 female, and my sister, 14 female. We lost our dad a few years ago. My mom has heavily favored my sister since she was born. To the point, she has raised my sister to be a pretty crappy person to be around. At least she is to me. Dad noticed it and called Mom out. And at some point, they did therapy where apparently it came to light that the grandmother she named me after was a person my mom had a lot of resentment toward. Why she named me after her then I will never really know. She claimed not to realize at the time, but she at least had some resentment toward me based on that. She also had some PPD when I was born and claimed the early months with me were a very dark time. Whenever we fight, she takes my sister's side regardless of what happens. Sister takes food off my plate, won't get in trouble. If I yell at her for it, I get punished. If I take food off my sister's plate in return, I get punished. Sister takes something from my room, nothing said. I bang on her door after she locked it and try to get it back. Punished for harassing my sister and making noise. I tell my mom about this stuff happening. She says something about learning how to share, or my sister being the baby, or my sister needing more, so let it go. My sister loves to gloat that mom loves her more. My sister has told me that mom has told her that she loves her, but tolerates me. My sister told me mom wishes I had died instead of dad. She told me they talk about that stuff. She also told me after dad died, mom pulled all the money from my college savings and put it into hers. My sister also lies to mom and claims I did stuff when she feels like I didn't get in enough trouble recently. In June, she got me grounded for the whole month by breaking her laptop and claiming I had done it. She knew it would be believed too, because I resented mom for buying my sister a brand new gaming laptop while I had to buy a really cheap second-hand one myself, with money for my birthday and Christmas. Mom didn't even let me say anything, and my sister gloated that mom will always believe her over me. It came to my mom's attention a few months ago that my sister is struggling in school in a couple of places, and she can't seem to catch up easily. But I always had good grades. I could even graduate early in theory, if my school offered that. They don't. My mom is aware of this from past years. She told me a couple of weeks ago that I need to start tutoring my sister before she goes into a hole she can't climb out of. I told my mom I won't help my sister. Mom told me I will, and it's my duty to help. I told her to spend money on a tutor for her favorite daughter because I won't do a thing to help either of them with this. I told her they don't deserve my help. Mom asked how I could put my sister's future at risk. I shrugged. Mom called me names and slammed a door when she left me. The tension is high because of this, and my sister is loving it. Am I the a-hole? Well, there's a special kind of hell for people like OP's mother. OP needs to speak to her dad's family to see if there's any money left to OP in the will or in a college fund. I wouldn't tutor sister, or if OP's mom forces her to, I would only do it half-assed. OP needs to study hard and go no contact as soon as possible. And now let's hear the community's opinion. No Brainer, duh, says, not the a-hole. Tell her you don't have the time. Since she allegedly took everything from your college fund, you need to work extra hard for scholarships. Your sister has a cushion, you don't. When and if she denies, bring up all the lies your sister has told you. It's ugly, but a necessary fight. You can finally know if they were lies or not. If she doesn't deny the allegations, though, just walk away. Stay in the library longer, or think of getting a part-time job, anything to avoid them. Stand your ground, though. Your sister will put all potential duck-ups on your head. You don't want to be responsible for her grades or future. The duo will likely harass you for the rest of your life, saying her life is crap because you intentionally sabotaged it or something. She likely will ruin it out of spite, just like her laptop. Stay as far away from her as possible. OMG Platypus says, wow, your mom sounds awful. You can emancipate at 16, if it was something that could work out for you. Cause that situation sounds terrible, and any kid should be with people who love and respect them, not the a-hole. Particular Try says, not the a-hole. Instead of telling your mom it's about favoritism, tell your mom that you aren't a good teacher and that your sister deserves the best, and that you don't want to be responsible for her grades because you know that the dynamic between you isn't conducive to learning. And then don't do it, because it's crappy. This is the hogwash she can lap up because it suits the narrative she already carries, right? Not a good truth, but a believable one for her. Hold on, hon. In a few short years, you will be able to grab your college fund and hopefully a scholarship and bug out of there fast. Do so. You deserve the best. I, 30 female, was engaged to Anthony, 32 male, 4 years ago. Our relationship ended for a number of reasons, but we had been together since high school. We did not have the best ending, and there was a lot of hurt. I moved across the country when I moved out of our shared home. We cut contact following our split, and have remained no contact ever since. We have mutual friends still, so I occasionally receive updates about his life, and I am sure he receives the same. 5 years ago, Anthony's mother, Liz, passed away after a long illness, and because we were engaged, Liz had given me a letter and a wrapped gift that she wanted me to give to Anthony on our wedding day. It was not specific to our wedding day, but since she knew she would not be there, she decided I should be the one to do it. She asked me to just keep it between us. She did not want her ex-husband or other kids to know. 8 months later, when we actually called off the wedding, I had forgotten about these items as I had stored them in my childhood bedroom for safekeeping. And in the midst of moving across the country, I left the items behind, which I am aware was careless. Fast forward to now, and I recently learned that Anthony is engaged to Beth, 30s, and my first thought was that I'm really happy for them and wish them all the best. I then was thinking about our canceled wedding and his mom. I really loved her like a second mom, and I was struck with the sinking feeling that I still had the letter and gift from her, and that I had never returned it to the family. I then remembered Liz asking me not to share it with her other children or ex-husband, and while I was unsure of the exact reason, I think it is because she had done the same for her other children, but I'm not sure who is holding on to their letters and gifts. I brought it up to my husband and explained how guilty I felt about still having these things, and I just did not know what to do. Together we talked through all the different options, and I could have called him, but felt it would ruin the surprise on the actual wedding day, which is what his mom wanted. I could have contacted a sibling, but then I feel like it would have ruined their surprise since they are not married yet. I thought about relatives, but I just didn't know who. I settled on Beth. It just felt right that Liz wanted it to come from his soon-to-be wife. I reached out to her via social media DM and wrote her an extensive letter detailing what I have stated above. I told her she could do with this information what she wanted, but I would be in my hometown next month and would love to get these items to her. Apparently, this was the wrong thing to do. She told Anthony about my message, and he is pissed that I reached out to her. He says I have no business contacting his fiancée. I'm torn now because I was honestly trying to honor his mother's wishes and return the items to their rightful owner. I really felt like I was doing the right thing for everyone. I don't think OP is in the wrong here, but she probably should have contacted her ex, or even a friend of his instead of his fiancé. The fiancé doesn't know OP, and because of that, she has reason to believe that OP is just trying to start drama. I understand that OP is trying to get the gift to her fiancé in accordance with his late mother's wishes, but that kind of went out the window when OP and her ex called off the wedding. OP should have just sent him a message informing him that she has a gift his mother gave to her to give to him years ago that she forgot about, and she'll be happy to mail it if he wants it. And now let's see if the community agrees with me. Man-at-Arms84 says, "Not the a-hole. You were trying to fulfill his mother's wishes. His fiancé had the option of responding to you. You at least gave that option. It may have been a shock to receive the contact, but if you accept that someone has a past, you have to accept that sometimes that past may sometimes come into contact with your present." Kerstemis says, "Not the a-hole, but you should maybe consider just giving them straight to Anthony. What if the letter says something about, 'I'm so happy you're marrying Dense Entrance. She's perfect for you.'" The Longest Game says, "Going no a-hole, as it sounds like this is a complicated situation, and we don't have the perspective of the ex regarding how the relationship went down and how he feels about OP. So I don't want to judge his reaction as the a-hole. I think your intentions were good, and I understand the process of how you landed on reaching out to the fiancé. That said, I think it was the wrong move. She doesn't know you and had no reason to believe you had good intentions. Therefore, she was justified in showing it to her fiancé, your ex. His response is what clued me in that there are some obvious unresolved issues, and he has a reason, valid or not. for being against you contacting his fiance. Personally, I think you should just mail him the stuff with no return address. Yeah, it's not exactly what his late mother wanted, but she also wanted you guys to get married, and that's definitely not happening. It belongs to their family, and they should have it. Update. So I heard from Anthony again over the weekend, but this time it was a phone call, which I was very surprised about. We've not spoken a word to each other since the day we broke up. Well, he was at a get-together with friends on Saturday, and he was still pretty angry about my reaching out to Beth. He was telling some of the partygoers about the interaction, and that I should have never reached out to her. The following is what he told me about their reaction to the conversation. I guess the people he was talking to, not friends I have kept in touch with, thought that he was overreacting. They told him that it sounded like I was trying to fix a mistake that I made, and did not mean any harm. So then his best friend, Mike, asked him why he was really angry. Anthony said this got him thinking about his reasoning, and he realized he wasn't actually mad about my contact with Beth, but the fact that 4 years ago, I actually moved and cut contact. He said that when he decided not to move, he was sure I would change my mind, and that when I left, it was a total shock to his system, and he was really angry with me. I acknowledged that the way I left was terrible, but also implored him to take responsibility that he completely blindsided me and left me with very few options. He apologized for this, and for his anger, and I apologized for leaving and cutting contact. I let him know the dates I will be in town, and I would happily send the items to them if he gave me his address. Instead, he asked if he could come and pick them up, which I said is fine. Overall, it was a good conversation that I'm glad we had. I doubt we will ever be friends, but I'm glad we seem to be at peace with each other. My fiance, 28 male, is a doctor, and I, 28 female, work in finance. Both earn almost equal pay. Been together for a year and a half, got engaged a month ago, and are planning to have a wedding in 7 months. His family is full of doctors. While my dad owns a business, mom is a stay-at-home wife, and brother, along with his wife, are high school teachers. My parents still live in a small townhouse my grandfather bought, since the two of them grew up there, fell in love, had us, plus all their friends live there. Basically emotional attachment. I never try to hide my wealth, just that I don't show it off. For example, I prefer traveling by public transport, because traffic and parking, while he drives a Range Rover. I have a Samsung. He makes fun of me for not owning an iPhone. I prefer not spending thousands of dollars on a dress I'm only going to wear once. I also enjoy eating fast food rather than going to a Michelin star restaurant. I admit, I never really told them how much my dad earns, as I just felt it was unnecessary. Anyways, I think him and his family assumed my family doesn't have much money or something. After getting engaged, we went to his parents' house for dinner, where they asked me what I plan to do in the future. I replied that I am planning to quit my job after the wedding and work for my dad. They kind of got confused, mad, weird, saying why would I quit such a high-paying job, and that if I'm planning to push all financial burdens on their son. Well, they asked for a prenuptial agreement. I agreed. A couple of weeks ago, we started planning our wedding. In my culture, I am Indian, he is white. We have big weddings. That's the only place we show off our wealth. My parents were discussing about how they want to invite over 250 people from our side, since I will be taking over the business and its networking. How they want to have 2 weddings, an Indian and a white. Now, Indian weddings have a lot of functions, spanning 3 to 4 days, all of which would preferably be hosted at 5-star hotels, or if we follow my dad, he wants to rent a castle. His parents demanded that if we want to have an expensive wedding, we will be the one paying, to which my dad agreed, saying he was going to pay for everything, even if they didn't ask. As the wedding planning proceeded, my fiancé and his family realized we are spending way more than they can afford. I guess that's when it struck them that my dad's business isn't really as small as they expected it to be. They did a Google search and found his company online, and his net turnover every year, which is on the website and so on. Anyway, now his family is mad at me, saying why did I hide the fact that I'm this rich? I am pretty sure they want to cancel the prenup. I'm not going to do that now, since it was their idea. Well, his mom is basically harassing me, saying I misled their family, and that I am an a-hole for trying to hide my wealth for so long. So am I? His parents treated OP like she's a gold digger, but they're the gold diggers themselves. OP's wealth has nothing to do with them. OP should have discussed with her husband about how they want to handle finances after their marriage. Given OP's disparity in spending habits, She may want to maintain separate personal accounts and credit cards and have a joint account just for joint household expenses. I think finances needs to be discussed before the wedding. OP needs to set some firm boundaries now about how she'll spend her money. And of course, she definitely should not cancel the prenup. United Fig says, "Not the a-hole. They thought you were a gold digger. You protected yourself and family from gold diggers by not flaunting your wealth. You and your fiance are well off. What is the issue? You are both protected by prenup." Future Nebula says, "Not the a-hole. The prenup was their idea. They're just sorry for it now. It protects you just as much as their son. Probably more now that they found out you were rich." 3Slip3642 says, "I would say ditch the fiance. Not once have I seen you mention your fiance and his position. Frankly, he should be defending you in this. Prenuptial agreements and trusts are important to safeguard wealth. In my opinion, I think you should go steps further. If your dad doesn't have a good consultant to structure your wealth and assets, I would be very worried. I've worked with ultra-high and high net worth families, and it's very common to structure and protect wealth. You are not the jerk here. Clearly, as others have mentioned, your in-laws and potentially fiancé are now aware of your family wealth and want to be a part of it.